Back on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. You're listening to Get Down to Business. We're powered by Tandem HR. Find out more about them at tandemhr.com. Thrilled to be joined here in studio by Linda Collins of the North Shore Senior Center, celebrating 60 years this year. Linda, thank you so much for joining us here in studio.
Thank you, Shalom. Very happy to talk about North Shore Senior Center anytime. So yes, as you said, we are celebrating 60 years, established in 1956. So it's very exciting.
Lots of years of doing fantastic work, and you are one of those hidden secrets of the North Shore, tucked a little bit off the highway, but I recently toured, visited, and just amazing all that's packed into one beautiful building.
Yes.
And I know you're focusing on a few services that I think our listeners need to know about, because we all have family members, we all have neighbors, and as I said, hidden secrets. So tell us a little bit about Care Options and some of the work that you're doing on the North Shore.
Sure, thanks. So Care Options is one of the programs offered by North Shore Senior Center, and we provide care management, and we use a client-centered approach to caring for older adults. So we have a staff of social workers and a nurse. And basically what we do is we provide families with answers at a time of uncertainty. So when questions arise, such as, does my parent need assistance with certain activities? Are they managing okay with shopping, cooking, cleaning, things like that? Could they benefit from home care services? Or do they need transportation to medical appointments?
Sure.
Do they need someone to be present during a medical appointment to make sure that things are communicated to the doctor and that any instructions for home care are followed through with?
That's great. Linda, one of the things that I hear from professionals all the time are how taking care of their family members, their loved ones, their parents, it's stressful and it's all consuming. And often when I walk into somebody's office, I see stacks of bills on a desk, but it's not bills from the office, it's bills that they are taking care of. Is that something that your program, Care Options at the North Shore Senior Center, helps provide some assistance with?
Yes, sure, absolutely. We do have a daily money manager on staff, and so we can absolutely help with that. We can help with, sorting through mail, paying bills, making sure income tax papers are organized and that income taxes are filed and that property taxes are paid on time, things like that.
That's great. And at the North Shore Senior Center, I know it's bricks and mortar, but so much more than that. You've got a great team in place at Care Options. But tell us a little bit about what takes place in the in the four walls of the Senior Center. I walked in and I saw a hustle bustle of activities. What does the average day look like?
So it is. There's actually about 200 to 300 people come through on any given day. So it's 1,000 to 1,500 per week. And so we have so many things going on. We have our lifelong learning program. And just, for example, last week they had a day trip where they went out and toured Rick Bayless's garden at his home in Chicago, and followed by a lunch at an area restaurant. So that was really fun. They've had a series of lectures this summer on American originals, such as Henry Fonda, Jimmy Stewart, Mark Twain. We have a fitness center on site at the campus. We have an art studio, a computer lab. We have, trying to think of what else we have. Just a lot of things going on any given morning or afternoon.
And it's beyond the Senior Center in Northfield. You also have satellite locations in other local communities.
We do, actually. We have offices in Evanston and in Niles. And then we also have staff at other senior centers, such as in Glenview, Northbrook, and Park Ridge. We have staff at some senior housing sites in the area and also at some area hospitals.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I want to go back to the programming, because when I walked in on, I think it was a Friday, there was there was hustle bustle. There were speakers there, and it was not. If I walked in and I didn't see the sign on the door saying it was a senior center, I would have thought this was I guess a business center as well, because there were lectures on fascinating topics, which I found very, very interesting. And that's something that I think our listeners should know about, because I say this on Get Down to Business all the time. Getting involved, being a part of community is so important. There are many volunteer opportunities for professionals as well. Tell us a little bit about how the senior center operates, how Care Options operates. How are you funded, and how are you run? I know you've got staff, but you rely on volunteers a lot too, I believe.
We sure do. There is a volunteer department, and so anyone can really come in of any age. Like you said, there are people there of all ages. Whether participating in programs or not, anyone can become a member. You can live anywhere and be a member. You can come in and talk to our volunteer coordinator, let them know what your skills are, and they can try to match you, with some of the needs that we have at the center. And so and as far as funding, we are independent. It's an independent organization. So we do get fees from our membership fees, from our program and service fees, but also from individual donations and family foundations, grants, and of course, state of Illinois funds some of our social service programs. So that's been a bit of a challenge lately.
Yeah, there's a little rumor out there that money's a little tight.
A little bit.
That's great. And I know you also have an annual fundraising gala, which is, I believe, on the calendar coming up over the next few months.
We do. Coming up very soon. It's September 17th, and it's at the center in Northfield. And the theme is Return to the Realm. So it's kind of along the lines of a Renaissance fair theme. And it's really fun. It's usually a very fun evening. They're raffling off a Jeep Wrangler. There'll be a silent auction, a wonderful sit-down dinner. So, yeah, it's really a really nice evening.
That's fantastic, and obviously I encourage our listeners to attend the gala, but also to get involved in any way. I know it's not just about the money; it's also about you need volunteers, you need the support from the community, and frankly, you need the awareness as well. Because as many people you are servicing, hundreds of people a day, there's a lot of people that don't yet know about the fantastic work of the North Shore Senior Center. Once again, we're chatting with Linda Collins, Care Options at the North Shore Senior Center, providing many resources, including helping families, including many of the professionals that listen to Get Down to Business, with care for their loved ones. Certainly very, very important. And I know you have staff of nurses as well that are sort of acting as case managers. So tell us a little bit about the intake process. If one of our listeners calls your office tomorrow, how does that process look?
Right. So we would talk with them on the phone first, kind of get a sense of what challenges they're facing. And, at that point, if we feel like there may be some ways that we can be of assistance, we would then invite them in for a no-cost consultation. So we would then sit down with them face-to-face, spend an hour, talking with them. And again, just getting a little better sense of the picture and some of the challenges they're facing, some of the goals they might have. And then we can determine, we can, be of assistance. Usually we can. And so at that point, families could engage us. And as you said, we do have a nurse as one of our care managers. And so if there are some medically challenging issues, then we might assign that particular family to our nurse as the care manager.
Well, it certainly sounds like your team knows of a lot of resources locally, both that can be provided at the North Shore Senior Center, but also beyond as well. So, Linda, what's your story? How did you get involved?
Well, I've been working with seniors for a while. I was working with seniors before I came to North Shore Senior Center, but it was kind of a series of circumstances. Anyway, it really had to do with my sister working there. She clued me in on a job that was available, and so, through that.
You're very passionate
yes.
on the subject, and I know that's contagious, and I do hope that our listeners will step up, get involved in any way, whether it's attending the event coming up in September, or certainly volunteering their services, volunteering their time. But it really is important that our listeners know about the resources tucked right off of the Edens Expressway in Northfield. So many people don't know about it, and it's very important. And it can actually save, we just talked about time management, so it could actually save our listeners, some of their valuable time and stress as well. So,
Exactly.
Linda, we are running out of time. I want to make sure our listeners find out more about how they can call and find out more about the work they do.
Sure. Okay. And also, just to mention, too, we do have our Adult Day Services program. House of Welcome is on our Northfield campus as well. So our website, our main website is www.nssc.org. And our main phone number is 847-784-6000. And if people want to contact Care Options directly, it's 847-242-6270. And they can also get to our page on our website. If they go to the main website and click on our logo at the top of the page, they'll get to the Care Options website.
Fantastic. Well, Linda Collins, we appreciate your time, and once again encourage our listeners to get involved in any way. Coming up after the break, we've got more tips, advice, and information for you. You won't want to miss it. We are going to be talking a little bit about marketing and exposure for businesses. Once again, you're listening to Get Down to Business. We're powered by Tandem HR. You can check Tandem HR out online, tandemhr.com. But after the headlines, we've got more tips, advice, and information for you.
When news